What is going on, fellow vets? Brian Reese here, the VA Claims Insider, coming at you live from Austin, Texas. And in today's video, I'm sharing everything I know about compensation and pension exams. Okay. And I'm going to do it in about 10 minutes or less. Okay. So today I'm sharing the top 10 C&P exam prep tips. Think of this as your just in time training guide. And I'm going to reveal and explain these top 10 tips so that no matter where you are in the VA disability claim process, you can be prepared when your C&P exam comes. Okay, now first and foremost, the compensation and pension exam is the number one most important day in the entire VA disability claims process. Now, why do I say that? I say that because this is the moment in time where an independent contracted examiner, okay, is going to assess your disability condition on that particular day. Now, what we've seen is VA raters, the person who actually reviews all the evidence and makes the final rating decision, they rely unbelievably heavily, okay, on the notes and the results of your C&P exam. Okay, so you absolutely have to be prepared to go in and crush your exam. Okay, so here we go. The top 10 C&P exam just in time quick prep tips, and I'm going to reveal these and explain them in detail so you know exactly what they mean and how to apply them. Number one, you must be open, honest, and truthful at all times. Okay. Never ever lie or stretch the truth. It's against the law, and there are civil and criminal penalties for doing so. Okay. So you absolutely have to share your truths at all times. Number two, the C&P examiner is not your friend. They are there to do a job, which is to assess your disability condition from a medical perspective. And you are there to do a job, which is to explain to that independent provider how severe your condition is on that particular day, how you are in your worst days, and how your symptoms are limiting or affecting your life in a negative way. Now, when I say the C&P examiner is not your friend, this means no small talk. Okay. Don't engage in small talk about what's going on in life. Never debate with the examiner. It's never going to get you anywhere. Stick to the facts of your case and the facts alone, and don't let the examiner pull you off course. Okay. Number three, I'm shocked at how many veterans don't know what's in their own military personnel records, what's in their medical records, or what's in their statements or buddy letters if you had friends or family write statements to support your claims. You have to know it. I mean, that's the bottom line. You have to know what's in your record and know what's in it cold. And what I recommend here is you go through and review your service treatment records, any VA medical records, and then any private records. And also go and review any personal statements that you wrote or any buddy statements that you wrote to support your claim. Why is this important? Because if the examiner starts asking you questions about your file, you need to know what you submitted. Okay. Now, the C&P examiner is supposed to have reviewed your entire C file, which is your entire VA claims file that you've submitted. They're supposed to have reviewed that in detail, okay, prior to you ever showing up to the exam. Now, sometimes what we've seen is an examiner might try to trick you or trap you into stating something that you haven't said before or something that's not in your record. Okay, so this is super important for you to make sure that everything that you're telling the examiner lines up with the evidence that you've already submitted. Okay. Number four, review any private disability benefit questionnaires and or nexus letters. You can also review the DBQ for your condition that you filed for, because guess what? At the C&P exam, the C&P examiner is going to be completing an electronic version of the DBQ for that condition. Now, they're supposed to go through that line by line and ask you questions to ensure that it's filled in appropriately. If you've received any private medical evidence from your doctor or from other private medical providers who do DBQs and or nexus letters, make sure you've reviewed them in detail and make sure you know what they say. Okay. Number 5, you've got to deep dive and get inside the law that governs all VA disabilities. That is CFR Title 38, Part 4, the Schedule for Rating Disabilities. Okay. VA raters are looking at this guide and they are matching your symptoms, the severity of your symptoms for that condition. They are matching them to the evidence of record and they're going to make a final rating decision. What I recommend is you can Google CFR Title 38, Part 4, the Schedule for Rating Disabilities, pull it up. You can hit Control F on your computer. You can search by keyword for the condition. Okay, now the general schedule lists over 800 rateable disability conditions. Go through it and know the approximate disability level that you're at. Okay, it's important that you understand what the symptoms are at particular ratings so that you know how your condition is going to be rated, reviewed by the C&P examiner, and then rated by the VA rater who reviews the evidence. Okay. Do not have your best day. This is C&P exam quick prep tip number 6. Okay. This does not mean you should lie or stretch the truth. Okay. That's illegal, wrong, and unethical. Don't do it. What do not have your best day means is you have to tell the C&P examiner how you are on your very worst days. Okay. Now, let me give you an example of this. Let's say that you're being reviewed for post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, you're having a mental health examination for PTSD. Well, we know, folks, that symptoms ebb and flow over time. Okay, and so maybe you're actually having not a bad day. You got up, you had coffee, you're dressed. Okay, tell the examiner though how things are at home when you're at your worst. Hey, I'm screaming at my spouse and kids. They're afraid of me. I'm angry all the time. I can't control my emotions. I'm checking windows, doors, and locks all the time. I can't sleep because of the severe anxiety. I don't enjoy doing the things I used to do anymore. Depression symptoms, okay? You have to tell the examiner what your life is like on a normal day. Okay, not how you are on your best days. Tell the examiner what your life is like and how your disability is limiting or affecting you in negative ways. Okay, you need to be prepared to talk about this. Number 7, be uncomfortably vulnerable. What does this mean? This means that if it's awkward, if it's uncomfortable for you to say, you absolutely need to tell the C&P examiner about it. And I love to use the example of sexual dysfunction. Okay. If you're a man and you're suffering from ED, erectile dysfunction, if you're a woman and you're suffering from female sexual arousal disorder, you have to tell the examiner this. Okay. You have to share those uncomfortable truths about how your disabilities are affecting your work, your life, and your social functioning. And you need to go in detail. Now, when I also say be uncomfortably vulnerable, this means you need to paint the picture for the examiner so that they understand. Okay. You need to make sure that they know and they feel, as the medical provider, what you're going through so that they can assess your disability appropriately. Okay. But you've got to share all of the uncomfortable truths, no matter how awkward and horrible they are, you've got to share them. Number 8, if you're having a C&P exam for a mental health condition, okay, it comes down to your occupational and social impairment plus your severity of symptoms. Now, let me explain what this means. Mental health ratings are governed by the general schedule, and they're rated on a scale of 0% to 100%, with breaks at 10%, 30%, 50%, and 70%. Okay, now the average VA rating for mental health conditions is 70%. Occupational impairment means how is your mental health condition affecting your ability to produce? Okay, your ability to work, your ability to provide for your family. If you're having difficulties at work, if you've had, for example, a reasonable accommodation where you have to work from home now, because you can't be in a cube environment, you struggle to work around people, maybe you're having hypersensitivity to lights or noises, things like that. you have to be prepared to talk about that because it's limiting your ability to produce for you and your family. Okay, that's what occupational impairment means. How is your mental health condition affecting your ability to produce or your ability to work? If you can't work because of your mental health condition, make sure you explain that as well. Social impairment means, how is it affecting your relationships? How is it affecting your life? Okay. If you are no longer able to, or you don't want to because you're depressed and anxious all the time, maybe you don't have friends anymore. Maybe you don't like to go out and do things you used to do. For example, maybe you were once an avid golfer and maybe you just don't golf anymore because you don't want to be around people. You just don't find it enjoyable anymore. You have to explain those things because it's shedding some light on how severe your symptoms are that are affecting your social life and all aspects of it, to include relationships. If you've been divorced before, if you're estranged from your children, if they're afraid of you because of your anger issues, you got to talk about it. Okay. Now, ultimately, your final VA rating for mental health comes down to the severity of your symptoms. Now, again, this is where you go back to tip number 5. You need to go look at the general schedule under CFR Title 38, Part 4, the schedule for rating disabilities, and take a look at your approximate disability level based upon the symptoms. Okay. Now, you don't have to have all those symptoms. You simply need to explain, folks, how your symptoms are limiting or affecting you, but you need to know what they are. Okay. So go back and review that and make sure you're explaining your symptoms to the C&P examiner. Okay. Number 9, any other condition. So this is anything that's not mental health. Okay. Your final VA rating comes down to pain, limitation of range of motion, and symptoms. Now, what we recommend here, folks, is if the doctor tells you, let's say, for example, you're at a C&P exam for your lower back. Okay. If the examiner says, hey, I want you to stand up and bend over and touch your toes. Okay. If you can't bend over and touch your toes without pain, don't do it. And tell the examiner, hey, as soon as I even try to move at all, I can't move. Okay. Again, assuming this is actually the truth and that's how severe your condition is. If you can move, move, but make sure that you stop when you feel discomfort. Okay. Don't push through the pain, which is what, of course, we're all trained to do in the military. Suck it up, carry on, mission first. Don't worry about yourself, care about everybody else. This ain't your time to play hero. Okay. This is your time to make sure you're showing the examiner the severity of your pain and limitation of range of motion. Now, you also need to talk about your symptoms of your back. How is it limiting or affecting you day to day, to include your work, to include your life, to include your social functioning? Okay. You got to make sure you talk about those things. Okay. My final prep tip today: how was your disability condition that you filed for, your PTSD, your migraines, your sleep apnea, your knee condition? How was it caused or made worse by your active duty service? And or if you filed for secondary service connection, how was it proximately due to or aggravated by another service connected disability? This gets to the heart of the nexus. Okay, now remember, in order to be eligible for disability compensation under the law, there has to be a nexus. Nexus means link or connection. And you have to be able to show this on an at least as likely as not basis. That's a 50-50 scale. 50% positive evidence, 50% negative evidence. Now, the good news is it's a low burden of proof. Okay. Now, if you're filing for direct service connection, but you've got silent active duty service records because you never went to the doctor, you better be prepared to explain to the examiner why there's no evidence in your service records. Hey, I didn't know I had this condition. Hey, I never went to the doctor because I was embarrassed to talk about mental health. Hey, I was self-medicating with drugs and alcohol, and I was worried about my chain of command finding out. You have to talk about it, okay? Because you've got to close what I call the nexus gap in your records, okay? Now, if you've been out of the military for longer than a year, okay, you're hearing my voice right now and you've been out of active duty service for more than a year, I highly recommend you get something called an independent medical opinion, an IMO, which is also known as a medical nexus letter. What is that? It's an evidence based document created by an independent private provider who can actually explain through your service records, through a disability exam they conducted with you, through any medical research and BVA case law, as well as their own education, training, and experience. They're going to explain the likelihood that your condition is due to your service or due to another service connected disability. This is crucial to help you get a disability condition service connected. Okay. If you can't prove service connection, you're not eligible for disability benefits under the law. Okay. Now, if you deserve a higher VA rating, you can start free with us right now inside of our premier education based coaching and consulting program called VA Claims Insider Elite. Now, what do we offer inside of this? You get strategy, education, and or medical evidence. Okay. You get a veteran coach assigned. You get the entire insider community behind you. Okay. Now, if you do these things, if you go through our elite program, you get a strategy from a coach, you get educated on the disability claims process, especially C&P exam prep, and you have the right medical evidence. Strategy plus education plus medical evidence equals the VA rating you deserve in less time. Okay. This is your moment to actually get what you've earned for your honorable service to our country. Okay. Now, since 2016, we've helped over 15,000 veterans just like you and me, okay, get the VA rating they deserve in less time with a 91% overall success rate and an average VA rating increase of 30%. Okay. Now, what we've figured out is most veterans are underrated. Most of you hearing my voice right now don't have the VA disability benefits you deserve. Okay. And that's where we come in. We help close the gap. We get you the strategy, the education, the medical evidence you need. You get a veteran coach assigned to you. And by the way, when you sign up, you hear from me, you'll hear from your coach in minutes. In minutes. I challenge you to find any other service anywhere, to include nonprofits and for-profits, that will provide you that level of service. Okay, that's how much we care. The VA Claims Insider Elite is our premier done with you membership program with no upfront fees owed to us. What do you get? We're giving you access and permission to use all of our proprietary resources inside the Elite Experience Portal Plus, which you get instant access to when you join today. Okay. Now, you only owe us your membership fee if and only if you win your claim as a result of our services and you increase your rating as a result of our services. Okay. And our standard fee is 6 times your monthly increase, payable once. Okay. If we don't win, you don't pay. Okay. We are completely aligned with skin in the game to ensure that we serve you at an elite level in accordance with our core values. Okay. We are veterans helping veterans worldwide. I'm a fellow disabled veteran and I lead this organization. Okay. I'm absolutely proud to do that. Again, if you deserve a higher VA rating, you can start free right now. The link is on the screen. You can go to vaclaimsinsider.com and there's a button right there that says start free. Okay. Now, once you complete the 3-step intake process, you got to fill out some basic information. You got to sign our membership agreement in step number 2. Once you do that, you are going to hear from your coach in minutes. Okay. This isn't taking hours or days. You're going to hear from us in minutes. So it doesn't matter where you are in the process. Okay. We can help you get the benefits you deserve for your honorable service. Okay. All right, fellow vets. Again, Brian Reese, the VA Claims Insider. I'm out from Austin, Texas. Appreciate you watching this video. Please like it. Please share it. Please follow our channel We're making high value content for you all the time to serve and support you on your VA journey. Okay. We'll talk to you real soon.